like we talked about toward the top, the goal of this and the ongoing, you know, battle or whatever with your ego isn't to kill it.
Right.
It's awareness.
Welcome to Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation Podcast, where we walk alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Today, we're talking about ego, what it really is, why it gets misunderstood, and believe it or not, how the 7 deadly sins reveal the truth.
Yeah. So I want to start off by saying that, we don't know everything about the ego, meaning Clint and I. And so, we have notes today. We don't do a super good job with notes because it feels really ready and just more scripted. But because I personally believe that this is the parasite that needs to be cleansed out of humanity, or at least like acknowledged, it needs to come into people's consciousness of what it is. We wanted to be super clear about what it is and how you can identify it in your own life. So if it seems reedy, that's why. We didn't want to just like come up with our own stuff and have it not be backed by like psychology and, spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All kinds of different things. So this will be a combination of reading and then
Interaction.
And then
We just don't do super good with the reedy stuff. We like to do stuff that we can banter back and forth about. But this is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be addressed. And so if you're listening, we want to give you tools to identify it in your own life, which means you're going to have to be present in your body and aware, really observing your behavior and managing your triggers and your ego. But if you don't have a definition for what that is, then you're not going to know, right? I mean, that's just, you don't know what you don't know.
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that because we've done quite a bit of research into this, we've been thinking about it and talking about it for a long time, but actually doing the research kind of solidified what we've talked about. And, when you initially think of ego, it really is just like an arrogance or a selfishness or I'm better than everybody, which it is partially that, but there's so much more to it. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why we felt compelled, because, people, you hear so much, it's such a thing anymore, and maybe it has been, and I just wasn't aware, but defining so many problems by ego, but the people doing that not really understanding what ego really is.
Sure.
And it's become a very demonized thing, the whole concept of ego, and I don't think that's appropriate, and I think it undervalues what it really is and takes away from the ability to grow through ego versus just, because you hear so often, you got to kill your ego. We're
especially
looking for
in the wellness world, like all the time. Yeah, that's your ego, kill your ego, or I'm beyond the ego. I mean, I've even said ego death, and I want to reframe that and say ego awareness.
Yes.
Like when you become aware of your ego, then it's just like anything else that you become aware of, that behaviors that are not beneficial, then you stop feeding it, right? Feeding those negative aspects of the ego. So it's more like an ego awareness instead of like an ego death.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right off the top, what is ego in psychology terms? What is ego? The ego is the organizing sense of I.
Yeah.
It's the part of you that maintains identity, makes decisions, sets boundaries, and helps you navigate daily life. So even at that, when you use that definition of ego, it becomes pretty clear that, this isn't something that I can kill. This
No,
isn't something that I can get
it's not
rid
the
of.
enemy,
Yeah.
right?
It's everything that defines you and helps you exist,
Yeah. I mean,
essentially.
without it, you couldn't drive a car, you couldn't hold a conversation or get your ass to the gym. Like, it's an operating system that lets you function as a person in this world.
Yeah.
So think of it like the dashboard of your car and or truck. It keeps track of who you are, where you're going, and how you're, staying safe on the road. Yeah.
So, really, what we're talking about is when it becomes a problem, is when you over identify it or let the ego control everything. So,
Right.
that's why the reframing of ego death to ego awareness is
Yeah.
so critical
Yeah.
because it's not going away. But when it runs the show, that's when things start getting haywire.
Totally. So you can't actually function without some form of ego. Trying to eliminate it completely would leave you unable to make decisions or show up in the world. And that's really not the goal. It's becoming aware of the ego when it wants to run the show. That's the important thing.
Kind of already mentioned it, and this is something that we're really seeing more and more.
Ugh.
And, maybe it's because I think it's always been around, but the rise of social media, of course, because, everybody has a voice to the masses versus, not that long ago in our childhoods, to date us a little bit, it would be, I don't even know how you heard about things. Maybe, I mean, I can't, but
Encyclopedia Britannica.
yeah, it was really, it seemed like the realm of cult leaders almost, with the idea of I've transcended ego. I'm beyond ego, which really is an indicator of I have no fucking clue what ego is.
Yeah. I am a walking ego,
Yeah.
right? Because it's all about like, I'm better than you.
Uh-huh.
I know some of you might not know this in the spiritual realm or world right now. It's the same thing of I'm a chosen one, right? I'm somehow elevated way more than anyone else in this community. And, I've had my ego death and now I'm just floating around. Not possible in this third density realm, right? It just isn't. So we've definitely seen this in ourselves. When we start bragging about being egoless, that's part of the healing process, because when you come into awareness, you're like, oh my goodness, oh, this is great. And then you have to kind of equilibrium yourself, right? And so your ego is still very much alive and well, but again, identifying it in humility is the most important part, right? So
let's talk about a healthy ego
Yeah.
versus ego attachment, which I guess would be like an unhealthy
Sure.
ego,
Yeah.
essentially. Here's some characteristics of a healthy ego. You've got a clear identity, strong boundaries, personal responsibility.
Say that one again.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah. So no victim mindset, no pointing at everyone else because of, your life or whatever your circumstances are.
Yeah.
Personal responsibility.
Ability to learn from feedback.
Oh, say that one again.
Ability to learn from feedback. So
Yeah.
critical.
Yeah.
And stay open even when uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So those are things. Well, and let's just talk about the ego attachment piece, and then we
Okay.
can kind of break
Go
down
for it.
ego attachment. Now, the other side of it, over identifying with roles, achievements, reputation, opinions, or self-image. When that image gets challenged, the ego reacts with defensiveness, comparison, or control.
Or judgment.
Yeah.
So signs that your ego is running the show. You feel a strong need to be right or have the last word. Do we want to say that again? Because
Sure.
this is a poison that I think is really in the human consciousness right now. You have a strong need to be right or have the last word. Here's another one. Someone's success triggers comparison or resentment instead of genuine celebration. We see that a lot as
Yeah.
well.
So
Hey friends, if you're getting something out of this, connect with us on our social media platforms. We're at CJ Elevated Life _ on Instagram and TikTok, and CJ Elevated Life on Facebook and X. We're answering DMs, sharing daily content, and building community with people ready for real transformation. For now, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We drop 2 new episodes every week. And if this episode resonates, share it. That's how we reach more people who are ready for change. You can also find everything at cjelevatedlife.com. All right, let's keep going.
I just want to go back a little bit
Okay.
because the first one, you feel a strong need to be right or have the last word. That's what so many people identify as ego. That's arrogance,
Sure.
that's superiority, all those things. These other things, and there's a few more bullets we're going to read, but just like the second one, someone's success triggers comparison or resentment. That isn't as often understood as ego,
Yeah,
but
you're
that
right.
is part of ego. And we're going to explain kind of it's fascinating. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but with the 7 deadly sins,
Oh, yeah.
really helps like pull everything together and
That's why I didn't
understand
want
it.
to leave it out because
Mhm.
it's wisdom.
Yeah.
And, it just helps you understand it. That's why we're coming at this from like the psychological and also the spiritual, because the more information you have, the more you can identify it in your own life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, you want to identify this in your own life, not just listening to this podcast and going, oh, that's that person. That's that person. That's your ego.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Keep
Yeah.
going, sir.
Do you want to keep reading them?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. You avoid hard conversations or feedback because it threatens your self-image.
That's a difficult one for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah. Keep going.
You catch yourself justifying or defending a behavior instead of owning it.
Yep. That's another one.
You tie your worth to external things like money, status, how your body looks, how disciplined you appear.
Yeah.
Again, that's a more common understanding of
Yeah.
ego, but you can see the themes, and we already kind of identified them. Really, whatever your understanding of self is, when other people are impacting it or other situations or circumstances are impacting it, whether it's you disengage or you feel threatened or you want to one up, make yourself better, whatever those feelings are, those are all ego.
Yes.
The tricky thing about ego is it's really easy to see in those big situations, if somebody's just grandstanding and like, everybody listen to me because I'm the smartest person in the world, whatever. But ego really announces itself in the small things.
Right.
The eye roll, the justification, the quiet comparison, the judgment in your mind versus, even saying it out loud.
Yeah.
That's where you can catch it and realize, oh shit, this is my ego talking.
Totally. And you can ask yourself some questions, right? This is, we're talking about being super aware. If you're someone who really wants to start working on with your ego and having it not be inflated, having it be healthy, here's some questions that you can ask yourself when you have interactions with other people. Am I reacting because this threatens who I think I am? Am I defending an image or owning what's actually true? That's a big one because sometimes we can live in main character awareness, right? Would I still feel this strongly if no one was watching? So here, those are just some tools. We want to give you actionable tools so that when you start becoming aware of your own ego, you can actually have some questions to ask yourself in your interactions.
And those are hard questions.
Hard for me.
I mean, yeah.
And if you're honest, I would say it's hard for everyone
Mhm.
because ego is something like, again, is a poison in humanity. And when you become aware of it, it's very humbling. If you are wanting to better yourself, because you're like, as we're doing the research on this, I'm like, oh, well, dude, I'm still like on step 0 with this part of my ego. And maybe I'm better in other areas, but just becoming aware has been a huge benefit.
I would also say with this ego stuff, and then we're getting into the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
It is I don't think it's a necessity, but I think it's very valuable to already have done some inner work before you really start digging into ego within yourself, because it's really easy when you ask those questions to dismiss them.
Oh, for sure.
If you haven't really had some honest conversations with yourself and done that work of really figuring out, being able to be honest with yourself, ego's just going to take over. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, here comes the justification.
Totally. If we're reading this off and you're like, well, I don't struggle with that. I don't struggle. You're not human then. You're like, everyone.
Come on the podcast because we'd love to interview you.
Yeah. Everyone struggles with this, and it's not a shame thing. It's just not. There's so much shame wrapped around everything that, it's like you don't want to look at it because there's so much shame in it. This is just part of the human experience. You were born with an ego to learn how to not let it run the show, basically. Yeah. Like that's one of your soul's missions is to deal with this thing that we call ego. So let's jump into the 7 deadly sins. You go for it. You're doing great with your reading today. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. First one, pride.
Yeah.
This is ego inflation. You feel superior, need to be seen as better, or can't admit when you're wrong. The identification for this, you catch yourself one-upping someone or refuse to ask for help. So again, we've kind of, just reiterating this a little bit. This is one of those very obvious ones.
For sure.
This is
this is a know-it-all. And it's really interesting to me because these are the 7 deadly sins. And I see this so much in religion.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are trying to, they're know-it-alls. They think they know everything about God and they've got the right way and you don't have the right way. This is rampant in religion. And it's just curious because it's in the scriptures that you're not supposed to be like this. Yeah. But this is how a lot of religious people are. So I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
Number 2, envy. So this is ego comparison. Your sense of self feels diminished by someone else's success. The identification for this, that quiet sting when a friend posts something good.
Yeah, this is another thing. Or just jealousy in general, right? Like not celebrating other people because it makes you feel like bad about yourself or fuck her or, screw him or whatever.
And this is one that's maybe a little bit easier to recognize because, when if you're completely oblivious, then none of these you're not going to recognize any of them. But when you start to get in tune with what you're actually feeling in moments, it's almost like a subconscious feeling, when something good happens to somebody, especially if it's related to something with you. You know what I mean? You're not in direct competition, but like, oh, they got to go on this trip and I want to go on a trip and they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just that first instant thought that isn't even a conscious, oh, I'm so pissed off at them or jealous of them. It's just like, oh, like when you can start to feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey.
And so what you can do is be like, wait a second, where did that come from? No. Put your ego in check. And then lean into the uncomfortable. So what I would say is, since we're talking about social media, like it, and be like, congratulations, glad you had such a good time, because that's how you build the healthy part, right? The self-awareness. Okay, go ahead.
All right, next one, greed. Ego insecurity around scarcity. I need more to feel safe or enough. Identification for this, hoarding time, money, attention, or validation. The thing that jumps out at me with this one is the time. Time/attention. Like I didn't typically think of that as greed. You know, when I just think of the 7 deadly sins in whatever just general context, greed is like, I need more shit.
Money.
Yeah, I need more money.
It's
I need more
always
cars. I need more.
Preached as like, oh, you want material goods.
But I would argue probably that time thing is more impactful.
I agree.
Because that's really impacting other people as well. You know, you're needing something for yourself and you're taking from someone else.
Yeah.
Versus just trying to build.
Yeah, or validation. Too.
Yeah.
You're greedy for validation. Like you have a hard time having anyone else be praised because you just want all the praise, right? Okay, go for it.
The next one, wrath, ego defense, reacting strongly when your identity or image feels attacked. Identification for this one, sudden anger or shutdown when someone disagrees with you.
That's another thing that is so rampant. I mean, it's just whether it's politics, whether it's the feminine against the masculine, whether it's against anything in the fitness space, right? There's so much nuance there. But boy, if you come out and say, oh, no, you know, this is different, then all of a sudden, you know, people just get really pissed off when you don't agree with them on everything. And that is ego.
Yeah. And another pretty easy one to check if you see something like that in whatever space, talking about whatever, and your first, again, subconscious reaction is anger.
Yeah.
It's such a quick way to say, whoa, I can totally disagree with them. And, you know, even if you're going to the point of let's have a discussion about this, depending on what situation you're in, you know, because I'm coming at it from a different place. I've had different experiences. I've done different research, whatever it might be. That's perfectly fine. That's just having a conversation, debating an idea or something. But if there's anger attached to it, like, whoa, I gotta understand what's going on here.
Yep.
Gluttony. Ego seeking comfort or numbness. Using food, scrolling, shopping, or anything to soothe
alcohol,
discomfort.
drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Validation.
Identification for this one, reaching for the snack or phone the second you feel uneasy. This one in this research was fascinating to me because gluttony always just seemed like you overate.
Right.
But it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Anything to numb.
Yeah. Disassociation. Complete disassociation. Yeah. I mean, this is something that has, you know, been an issue for me for a long time, not just in the form of food. If you guys have listened to my fitness journey, when I recently gained a bunch of weight, I knew exactly what I was doing. I was reaching for food, for comfort, and I didn't care. Honestly, I didn't. But it's the truth again with shopping or planning trips or going to endless concerts or anything to get you to disassociate from what is really the truth in your life. Yeah.
Next one, sloth, ego avoidance, putting off responsibility because it's uncomfortable. Identification for this, I'll do it tomorrow when you know today is the right time. I know I've said this with a lot of them, but it's just really mind-blowing to me, the depth of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
And not because, again, this one is just like being lazy. You know, in my mind, like the simple version of sloth is being lazy. But really what we're talking about is procrastination. I mean, being lazy is part of it, but you can be super quote unquote busy and still be experiencing ego avoidance or sloth,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh no, I need to do all these other things that maybe aren't as important,
Yeah.
because now I feel like I've accomplished so much and I've done so much, except for I avoided the thing that I really needed to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because, it was going to make me uncomfortable, or,
Yep.
all those other.
Those phone calls that you have to make, those emails that you have to send, all of that.
Mhm.
I struggle with this as well. I know it's a struggle. And, there are times when I'm like, just fucking lean in, get those 3 tasks that have been on your list all week that you've been pushing off until Friday because you just don't want to do it. That's definitely something that I struggle with.
And it's fascinating because it ends up so often the task, the justification for the avoidance is built up so much more than the actual task
Yeah, you
itself.
just had that experience.
I
You
did.
want to share it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
had to make an adjustment to my vision insurance to be able to log in and make an appointment, and I've been putting that off for weeks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to make that phone call. I didn't want to have to deal with, the insurance and all this stuff and finding every other excuse and accidentally forgetting every day. And then I made the call yesterday. It took like 6 minutes, and the lady was super nice and just boom, 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 got it all done, got my appointment scheduled. It was no problem.
Yeah.
And that's just one little example. But like we were talking about, that little example is where my ego was shining through in not doing it. It wasn't a major life-changing event. It was just pick up the phone and get the thing done.
It's the little habits.
Yeah.
Right? The
Yep.
little things.
The
All right.
last one, lust. Ego-driven desire that overrides awareness and boundaries. So identification for this one, chasing a feeling or person to fill a void instead of addressing what's actually missing.
That's super deep.
Mm-hmm.
Like addressing things within yourself instead of reaching for external validation. Guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, guilty.
And again, like with so many of these, it's not sex.
Right.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly one of the things, but lust incorporates so much more anytime you're seeking outside validation,
Yeah.
not just in a physical desire or
Sure.
anything like that,
Yeah.
which is, pretty wild.
So this isn't about being a bad person, okay? So we're not like, okay, you're awful if you, are living in this. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe this is, the first day you've ever heard about what the depth of what the ego, how it plays a role in your life. So you're not a bad person. This is just signals that your ego is trying to protect or soothe itself. And spotting them and being aware in real time is really the skill that we're trying to inspire you to develop.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just the truth. This is something that you are going to battle for the rest of your life, right? But just being aware and keeping it in check, is helpful. Really.
Hey, quick pause. If this episode is hitting you and you're ready for real tools, here's what we built.
Head on over to cjellevatedlife.com, pick up the Rebuilt Method for Men or
Whoa.
the Rebuilt Method for Women, just $67 each. We also created the Parasite Detox Blueprint at $37. And this is actually the exact protocol we use ourselves.
And while you're there, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get the weekly action steps and new tools we've tested ourselves. Let's get back to the episode.
Like we talked about toward the top, the goal of this and the ongoing, battle or whatever with your ego isn't to kill it.
Right.
It's awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, that concept is ego awareness. So here's some things that some ways to identify that you are maybe being successful in awareness of your ego. You have clear identity without being trapped by it. You maintain boundaries without being defensive. That's such a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, Take full responsibility without needing to look perfect.
Yep.
And staying open to learning, even when it's uncomfortable.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time learning. So
from anybody.
Yeah. Anybody, any age, any generation, whatever you want to say, stay open to learn. This is what maturing looks like. So this is why we have grown-ass adults walking around that are really children. And we have some children walking around that are more aware of this than adults, right? I mean, this is just what real maturity looks like.
Yeah. Action steps.
Action steps. Go for it.
Yeah. Because like Jonna mentioned earlier, we do like to give you tools. We like to give us tools.
Totally.
I mean,
yeah.
And it's such a big thing. And like with so many other things that we talk about, this isn't I'm going from, I just am learning about ego to I'm fully aware of my ego and living in this, I've ascended my ego and now I dominate it or whatever. It's a process.
Yes, it is.
And the analogy I use for so many things, like Jonna advocates for all the time with nutrition with people, is okay, stick with whatever you're doing, add a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
We'll get to other things. That'll build. So with this, it's that add a piece of fruit. It's picking one thing, being aware of those little things that we're talking about. One time that you had a comparison or a justification or that urge to need to feel right when it didn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no, it's not like an outcome, I have to be right because it's going to save somebody's life or,
right.
You know what I mean? That's not what we're talking about. It's like one thing that I think of a lot is people that'll like or correct someone if they mispronounce a word or they misspoke, they flipped the order of words or something. You totally understand what they're saying. It has no bearing on the conversation. You can just move right past it, but you need to interject.
Yeah.
You need to let them know they mispronounced or they, said, I don't know, I can't even think one off the top of my head, but they flipped two words.
They had a human moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. If you feel that urge, like, okay, hey, I have an opportunity now.
Yeah. And notice it within yourself without judging yourself. Okay. Because judgment in any form is 100% ego. So just observe.
Because you asked me to do this a couple times, I'm going to ask you to repeat that.
What did I say? Judgment in any
form, including of yourself.
Totally. Is ego. Mm-hmm. That is ego. So maybe start with just stop judging yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you stop judging yourself, you naturally stop judging others. You're going to notice that the most judgmental people on the fucking planet are so awful to themselves first because that's your frequency. You're just like a walking judgment, critical. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Oh, you dress this way. They're judging themselves first.
So you just hit on, I think, the key and something that we talk about in virtually every podcast we do. It starts within.
Yeah. Hey, if you don't know this, everything starts within. And it's hard because you want to disassociate, just like one of the 7 deadly sins, and you don't want to look within because it's scary and you have to have real, honest conversations with yourself. But if you want to do better as a human, you have to do that. And there's so many fakes and frauds out there. Guys, they're just fucking rampant. Rampant. Just like I've ascended my ego, and I've had an ego death, and I'm just so blah, blah, blah. And, people new to the awakening community look up to these people as like, oh my gosh, maybe, you killed your ego. Number one, most of us don't even know what the fullness of what ego is. But number two, well, I want to do that. Like, who doesn't want to just like not have to deal with their fucking ego all the time?
Right.
And it's just, it's oversimplified and a crock of crap. It just is from a place of pride, really. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful in just identifying what ego is and then being able to sit with yourself and ask yourself these hard questions. Go through the 7 deadly sins, which I feel really did a good job of explaining what that ego is. Yeah.
The full expanse
Yeah.
of what ego is. Yeah, I agree. And just like, I'll just reiterate this, take it slow.
Yeah. Have grace with yourself.
Yes. And start within.
And also have grace with others, because there's a lot of people who don't even know this. They don't want to know it. Their soul is on a different journey during this lifetime. And it's not for you to go around and be like, oh, your ego. Oh, your ego. Like, just work on yourself. Work on yourself. That's all. All right. I hope that this was helpful. Have a good day. Thank you for listening.
Talk to you soon.